into the day, what did I see? Well, at the start, I was bullish to previous day highs. So essentially this accumulation, or not accumulation, this open imbalance right here. You can see on this part, this is literally whenever price was still developing. You can see the 4-hour candles printing like that. So I like this 2-hour gap. SMT at this previous day high, so we don't have to, but I liked how ES was still, trending beyond this high. So I thought, okay, this could be lag and NASDAQ will follow. And I was wrong. So I went into the day bullish, and I was quickly shown that, oh my God, we were not bullish, right? So how did I adapt and what did I do? Well, honestly, within the first 5 minutes of price developing, I think I say it here. Yeah, like we literally just rip. And then I immediately started looking for bearishness. So I saw slanted lows, this open gap right here, and then of course previous day lows, and then running further into some liquidity. So I didn't flip my bias, but I kind of just realized like, okay, we're ripping through all of my key levels, and it's not like we're somewhat reacting, we are burning through it. So obviously disrespecting versus respecting, I'm not going to marry a bias, and I'm just going to trade with the trend, because now we have, obviously on the hourly time frame, we do have some liquidity to seek out, like some LR leading up to an unmitigated gap. The same thing here, like some failure swings leading up to that unmitigated gap that I'd marked. So I was looking for bearish sells here, and I caught my trade. Honestly, not my best trade. I'll be completely honest with y'all. I definitely could have taken a better trade. It was more in the moment that I really liked it, but we had the first retrace of the session, and like an actual retrace into like a somewhat significant gap. It was a 4-minute, not that crazy. This is kind of like why it's not good. It's a low time frame gap. The reason why I took it is mainly off the structure. Now I don't have the 30-second, but obviously you can see here like we get a 1-minute change in the state. So the 30-second inversion, actually I have a photo of it. The 30-second inversion looks like this, right? So we ran lower, we hit that 4-minute gap above, and then instantly burned through the gap as so. So what I kind of saw was, all right, price finally had its first retrace, first little manipulation into that 4-minute gap. But the reason why I really took it is because of this unmitigated gap just below us. So price had essentially just created this super simple swing on an unmitigated high time frame for value gap, and the fact that we had burnt through everything in this range, like you can just check the 30-minute chart, we have burnt through literally everything in this range so far. I'm like, okay, we might as well go to the unmitigated gap, because even this gap, we did sweep that intermediate low, still a mitigated gap. So I kind of just thought, all right, price probably just wants to seek this out, and then we're obviously super bearish. Had we had a weaker trend, I would not trade this. So if we had less displacement, less obvious disrespect of anything bullish, I would not take this. This is not something I want to take. It's just it's honestly like it's somewhat bare minimum, because it's a low time frame gap. It's a low time frame sweep. My targets are high time frame significant, but even then, it's just 2 1-minute swings with a 30-minute gap. So it's not, super bad. Like, it's not bare minimum, but it's not abundant either. So the setup could be all right, but as you can see, I pay my price. Like I don't hit TP. Oh my God, bro. I think it would have been, like 1,300 on every account if I hit TP there, because I had 2 contracts being sold. So it would have been like 1,300 by 8 accounts. So low-key mid that I missed that, or 1,300, but ACG anyway. So I missed my trade, right? I got break even, but what did I do? Well, I simply waited for another high quality setup to present itself, and we got that into 10 a.m. So what did 10 a.m. do, or what did a 10 a.m. candle do? More importantly, we went up into this 15-minute imbalance just above. And why is this important? Well, on the higher time frame, if we're obviously bearish, right, and we want distribution to what high time frame targets, such as previous day low, this 30-minute gap, things that exist on the high time frame, we need a high time frame retrace, right? We cannot target high time frame targets using a low time frame retrace. The reason I did it here is simply because of displacement. But for the most part, low time frame retraces will not deliver to high time frame draws. Obviously, unless it's like a continuation gap off of a high time frame thing, that's totally different. But anyway, so we get our retrace into this 15-minute gap with an SMT as well. Like at this point, ES really hasn't done anything. And I'll get into this markup in a second. But ES hasn't really done anything at this point. Again, right, like NASDAQ is now way above this high and ES isn't. So SMT right here and at that 50-minute gap. So we're currently manipulating. And then this is where people caught the first entry, or most of their first entry, like they're short. They took this 3-minute inversion. And honestly, this 3-minute is very good. Super healthy, has a lot of displacement behind it. The only drawback is, and you can see on ES, we sweep the low. Now, the thing with sweeping this low, yes, it's bad. Usually you don't, like for the most part, you don't want to take these setups that have SMTs at the lows because like the win rate just kind of falls off the face of the earth. But for the people that did take that trade today, this is what this diagram is for and why I still think it's somewhat viable to take it. Like it's not that big of a deal. It's because where of the sweep was. So the sweep was at this low, right? So you can see it like that's the low that we marked out earlier. That's the SMT. Where was that in high time frame? Well, we're below this 1 hour gap, and even then it's like a tick in size. But you can see at this diagram, we're inside of this LR. So just below this SMT liquidity point, it's just LR and then an unmitigated gap below. So on ES, are we gonna reverse here? Probably not. Like it's not, you know, like yeah, an SMT is there. It's like high resistance. It's not that good, but you can see on ES, like this was the draw. Like I literally had this marked out. So I didn't really look at this as like anything bad. So if you did take it, that SMT is against you, but given the high time frame context, this SMT is more just like lag rather than manipulation to then reverse off of. And you can see that once we actually do hit those high time frame key levels, sweep out the liquidity, hit that oh my god, unmitigated gap, then we can actually get that reaction that we're having now. So this is an okay entry, but the one that follows is definitely better. And this is the 1030 PO3. So what happens at 1030? Well, we accumulate, right? So now we have that SMT at the low, and prices just kind of ranging because we have high resistance on both sides of the market. So how do you want to play high resistance? Well, if you have high resistance lows and high resistance highs, you literally just have to play off of the conditions. So the only condition that you would play off of is this 4-minute. And you're just making sure that price is actively respecting this 4-minute, and we're going to continue bearish. Obviously, high time frame does help this high more than this low. You know, 30-minute gap, we still have equal lows here. ES has a reason to go lower as well. So the draw here is very viable and, you know, actually valid. And you can see we get some manipulation at 1030. Unfortunately, 1030 does not make the high right here, but that's totally fine. We manipulate. 1030 still makes that opening or that open high of the wick. We hit CE of that 4-minute, get a very healthy close through this 2-minute, and you would get your inversion. You also get like a change of the state. Oh, this actually is a down close candle. Yeah, so this also is a change of the state. So very healthy. An inversion that displaces through the gap and has a change to the state, I wouldn't know. I don't know if it directly adds probability, but I would assume it does simply because it shows so much displacement. But you would get about a 1.4 with the widest stop, 2 RR with a tight one. But given the conditions, I would put your stop loss at this wick. And then you can just ride this out. It ends up just smacking. Why does this smack? Well, it's a low resistance liquidity pool because it's that 30-minute gap from before. That we edged, made equal lows with, and then we did what? Accumulate, made more liquidity to the sweep, manipulated at that high time frame candle opening, dumped through the gap with that clean inversion and CISD. Now, I did not take this trade, but Blake did, so I can low-key just claim that as my own. I'm just gonna, cope with that. So I'm break even on the day, but I'm reviewing this trade because obviously people that trade the model, people that I obviously teach with, also took this trade, so it's definitely valid. The reason I faded this and that I didn't take this 3-minute or this one is I usually just take one trade a day. And I knew that if I took a loss after obviously entering this trade and then going break even, for me to then eat obviously a loss after that, I just didn't want to. I don't want my day to go like that. I'll forfeit the opportunity. I'll forfeit the chance to make money. Because I'd rather, save my mental. I'd rather save the mental frustration because I know that I nearly won here. And then if I then just gave myself a loss that I now have to dig myself out of or just get myself out of that pit, I just don't want to do that. I wouldn't be happy about it. So that's just how I went about it. Didn't like the chop. So I was like, bruh, I'm just not going to. I do like the DOL, but the SMT is there. Even if I can paint a reason to ignore it, it's just the chop, the SMT. the break even. You know, now I have an abundance of reasons to fade simply for my mental frustration and just like saving, you know, me obviously the friction of whatever that would give me. So yeah, and that's how I went about the day. I think any trades after that aren't really worth it. Whenever I do recaps like this, I go over the main trades, like my one obviously, and then the ones that y'all should have taken. So that would be this 3 minute and then this 1 minute. I think anything else is invalid. Like any longs here is invalid. This long right here is invalid, obviously, because we have this equal lows. And then this short right here is invalid because like not the final for value gap. But yeah, and that's about it. That's how I went about the day. Only took one trade, again, for those reasons earlier. Didn't want to give myself mental frustration. Very good trade here. This was probably trade of the day. Like this 3 minute and this 1 minute are probably trade of the day. I'd probably say this is more trade of the day just because of the targets, the lack of that stop loss as well, or SMT. And yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all would like more of this content, make sure you subscribe. I also do trade reviews every day at 11 or 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you want to see the trades I took, like this one right here, and you want your trades reviewed, like let's say you took a long and you got it wrong, I would then obviously show you what you should have seen, what you missed, this, that, and the third, whatever. So if you're interested in that, then join up, and yeah, hope y'all enjoyed.